Have you ever stood in a room full of people, holding a secret so explosive it could vaporize everything you've ever loved? That was me, standing in the grand ballroom of the Drake Hotel on Magnificent Mile, my wife Jessica on my arm, her laughter echoing like a beautiful, poisonous bell. She was pointing out a new art installation, her emerald dress shimmering under the chandeliers. And all I could think about was the photograph on my phone, the one of her and another man, tangled in sheets in a room just a few floors above us. The only question left was how I was going to burn her world down without getting caught in the blaze. If you love stories that keep you on the edge of your seat, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You won't want to miss what happens next. Our life, from the outside, was perfect. We had a beautiful brownstone in Lincoln Park, a life stitched together with brunch dates, charity galas, and weekend trips to Lake Geneva. I was a partner at a downtown law firm. She was a rising star in marketing. We were the couple everyone wanted to be. But perfection is often just a mask for decay. I started noticing it in small ways. The late nights at the office that didn't add up, the sudden obsession with her phone, angled away from me whenever I entered a room, the new perfume, a scent I'd never bought her. One evening, I came home early from a canceled dinner meeting. The house was quiet. I found a receipt on the kitchen counter from a restaurant called Alinea. It was for 2 people, dated the previous Tuesday at night. She told me she was working late on a big campaign launch. My heart started a slow, painful drumbeat. I checked our shared credit card statement online. There it was. The charge from Alinea. And another one from the same night for the Peninsula Hotel. My blood ran cold. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I became a ghost in my own life, a detective hunting for the truth that was already gutting me. I used a simple recovery software on our home computer, pulling up deleted messages from her synced devices. The words blurred together, a venomous cocktail of pet names, shared secrets, and explicit plans. The man's name was Mark. He was a senior VP at her company, a married man with 2 kids, a fact they seemed to find thrilling. The texts were sickening. They mocked me, my predictable schedule, the way I organized my sock drawer, my love for old movies. Every intimate detail of our life was a joke they shared. Jessica, my Jessica, had become a stranger. She was cold, dismissive. When I tried to talk to her, to connect, she'd accuse me of being needy, of suffocating her. She was rewriting our history, painting me as the villain to justify her own treachery. They felt untouchable, wrapped in the arrogance of their secret affair. The breaking point came one rainy Thursday. I was working from home, and she thought I was on a conference call. I heard her on the phone in our bedroom, her voice low and conspiratorial. "Mark," she whispered, followed by a cruel laugh. "Don't worry, I'm managing him."
Oh, well.
"I'm managing him? A few more months and I'll have everything I need to leave him with nothing." That was it. The floor fell out from under me. I stumbled into the guest bathroom, locked the door, and slid to the floor, my whole body shaking. The man who walked into that bathroom didn't walk out. The person who emerged was someone else entirely cold, calculating and fueled by a singular purpose: vengeance. My grief had crystallized into rage. I didn't just want a divorce. I wanted to dismantle her, piece by piece. I hired the most ruthless private investigator in Chicago, a former FBI agent who operated in the city's shadows. For the next 3 months, we built a case that was airtight, a fortress of evidence. We had photos, videos, hotel receipts, GPS tracking data. We had recordings of their conversations captured legally, detailing their plans to defraud me in the divorce, to leverage her emotional distress from my neglect to claim a larger share of our assets. Mark, her lover, was the key. He was a man who valued his public image above all else. His wife came from old money, a powerful family with deep roots in Chicago's political scene. An ugly public divorce would be his corporate and social death sentence. The final act was set for our 10th anniversary party, the very party Jessica had insisted on, a grand affair at the Drake Hotel to reaffirm our love in front of everyone we knew. The irony was suffocating. She saw it as a victory lap, saw it as the execution stage. That night, she was radiant, floating through the ballroom, accepting congratulations. Mark and his wife Sarah were there, of course. Mark gave me a smug, knowing nod from across the room, the kind of look one alpha predator gives another. He had no idea he was already in the trap. As the night wound down, I took the microphone for the traditional anniversary toast. Jessica beamed, clutching my arm. I raised my glass. To 10 years, I began, my voice steady. 10 years of memories, some beautiful and some educational. A few people chuckled. Jessica has taught me so much. She's taught me about ambition, about desire, and most importantly, about the fine art of deception. A confused murmur rippled through the crowd. Jessica's smile faltered, continued. My eyes locked on hers. She also taught me that when you're planning to leave your husband, it's probably best not to discuss your strategy to defraud him on a recorded line. Panic flashed in her eyes. I turned my gaze to Mark, and to Mark. Thank you for your supporting role. Though I must say, for a man in your position, using a corporate credit card for your rendezvous at the peninsula. A bit clumsy, don't you think? Mark went white as a sheet. His wife Sarah slowly turned to look at him, her expression hardening into one of cold fury. I had sent her a package an hour earlier, complete portfolio of her husband's affair, delivered by messenger to her at the hotel. Then, the final blow. I gestured to the large screens on either side of the ballroom, which had been cycling through photos of our life together. And for our final memory of the evening, I said, pressing a button on a small remote. The screens flickered. The smiling photos were replaced by high-resolution images. Jessica and Mark, kissing passionately in a hotel hallway. Jessica and Mark, holding hands under a table at Alinea. Text message screenshots, their cruel words about me and their plans for our future, blown up for all 200 guests to see. Gasps filled the room. Jessica just stood there, frozen, her face a mask of horror. She looked at Mark, a desperate, pleading look in her eyes, but he wasn't looking at her. He was looking at his wife, who had already stood up and was walking toward him with a terrifyingly calm demeanor. "We're done," she said, her voice loud enough for the tables nearby to hear, before turning and walking out of the ballroom without a backward glance. Mark stumbled after her, his social and financial life imploding in real time. Jessica finally turned back to me, her body trembling, tears streaming down her face, ruining her perfect makeup. "How could you?" she choked out. I leaned in close, my voice a whisper only she could hear. "You broke our vows. You mocked our life. You planned to ruin me. I just planned better." I placed my wedding ring on the table, turned my back on the ruin of my marriage, and walked out of the ballroom without looking back. The divorce was swift and brutal. With the evidence of infidelity and her conspiracy to commit fraud, she got nothing. Her company fired her for violating their code of conduct and misusing corporate funds. Her friends, our friends, abandoned her. She was a pariah. Sometimes late at night, I drive past our old house in Lincoln Park. Someone else lives there now. The lights are on, and I can see a new family's life playing out in the windows. I don't feel anger anymore, not even sadness, just a profound, chilling emptiness. The silence is the loudest sound I've ever heard. The end.